Hey all, good morning. Let me share my screen. We'll start the session. Let me know if you're able to see my screen now. So yesterday we covered the topic DDL in SQL programming language. Today's agenda is DML. During the weekdays we have to be very strict on the timing. So I will start, and by 7:40, 7:45, we should be wrapping up the session, and then we'll go for any questions and the interview question discussion. Okay, let's get started. So today, as part of the discussion, we are going to start with the data manipulation language command. So yesterday, we studied that SQL is a programming language that supports, allow you to do three key things. Okay, one is store, second is retrieve, third is manipulate. Any programming language in SQL, you have these three basic capabilities. And SQL is designed to do these three basic capabilities on data stored within a database. Okay. Are you able to see my screen, folks? Can I get a thumbs up? Are you able to see my screen? Am I audible? Ramya, can you just give me a yes, no, if everything looks okay in the chat? Guys, my screen is visible, right? Okay, fine. So as in SQL programming language, three capabilities that you can always do is the storage of the data within the database systems, manipulation of the data within the database system, and retrieval of the data that is stored within the database system. These are the three key operations that you can do within the a database management system. Database is a data container. It is a virtual data container. Database management system is an application software, DBMS. Database management system is an application software that allows you to play with the data. That is, either you are going to do three operations. One is the store, one is the retrieve, other is the manipulation of the data stored within the database. That is what these are the three operations that a DBMS application software allows you. We are studying SQL Server. Now, by far, you must have understood SQL Server is also part of a DBMS application. Okay, SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, Postgre, any database management system that you are seeing in or any product that you see that allows you to create, manipulate, and store, retrieve operation within the database is a DBMS. Okay, now today, as a part of the SQL programming language, we are going to understand. Yesterday, we could create containers, right? Where the data container, we could create database, we could create tables, where those are the container where the data could have been stored, right? Today, we are going to study how are we going to store data within the data container. Okay, so we are going to study about the data manipulation language. So today's agenda is more about learning the data manipulation language command. What is a DML command? What are the commands available within the DMLs? Purpose of the DML command. The four key command. There are only four commands available within the DML: insert, update, delete, and merge. Merge is a special command. We'll try to cover it today. If not, we'll cover it during the procedure, studying the procedure or the programming language. Typically, merge is not a merge. Does not have any kind of capability of its own. It is a very special command. I will try to show you one example. Do not get rush. If you understand, then it is well and fine. If you don't, still do not nothing to worry. Will during the study of the if else conditional blocks, you will understand what the conditional block mean and how merge actually gives you the conditional programming capability. Okay, so do remember, within the DML programming, DML language, or DML is a sublanguage of SQL that allows you to do the data manipulation. Okay, let's go into the DML introduction. So DML is the language, programming language of SQL that allows you to do store the data, storing the data, and manipulation of the data within the database. Two things you can do: store and manipulate. If you want to store the data or the manipulation of the data, both of the thing can be done using the DML. Also, while studying the in Google or Bing, wherever you are studying the DDL or DML, do remember there is a line also you might find. DDL helps you create the storage, which is correct. So DDL is meant for the store part of the programming. Like I said, store, retrieve, manipulate. Store, first store the data, second manipulate the data, third retrieve the data. So storage is always part of the create, because if you cannot create the container, that is where you are creating the storage container, right? That is where the store part is involved. Typically, storage creation part is part of DDL, but data storing into the container is part of the DML. Okay. So what you can do in case you want to store the data within a data container like table, SQL table, or you want to modify the data within the table, or you want to delete the record within the table, you have to leverage DML. Okay. Now, what are the four commands supported within the DML? Like I said, insert, update, delete, and merge. These are the four commands supported within the DML. What is the purpose of each of the command? Insert. Insert command helps in inserting phrase rows of data within the SQL table. Okay. It will help you insert n number of rows into a specific SQL table. Do remember, through a insert command, you can only insert into one target table. With using one command, you can insert only one table. Just a minute, I got something. Okay, and then update command helps in existing updating the record into the SQL table. Okay. Update means what? Say for an example, there are certain records available within the SQL table. Now, what you are going to do, you are going to update, you want to modify, say for an example, during the salary appraisal cycle, every year, every IT company gives a salary appraisal. And every person gets a very different number. Somebody gets a 5%, somebody gets a 7%, somebody gets 20%, 25%, depending upon their merit and the performance. In case during the appraisal cycle, somebody want to, HR has given a notation that XYZ person will be given 10%, ABCD persons will be given 25%. How do you do that, right? In case you want to modify the salary part of a particular employee, how do you actually do update the data records within the SQL table? Okay. Now, the command that helps you do the update is the update command. Next part, the delete. Delete command helps you deleting existing data records within the table. Yesterday, we studied a command known as truncate command. Truncate command helps you Truncate command helps you wipe out all the data that is available within a table. Delete command without a where condition also wipes out all the data from the table. Do you remember? Delete command without a where clause also deletes all the record from the table. But delete is a DML command. That's why you can actually go for selective deletion. In case you want to very selectively delete one record from a table, that is also possible, and you can leverage delete command. We'll study how do you actually do the delete command using selective deletion. And merge, like I said, merge, it is a special command that helps in perform conditional logic. Okay, merge doesn't have any capability of its own. Merge is a special command that can combine if and else condition. If the data is there, you do something. If the data is not there, you do something. So that is what the conditional logic that you can perform using the merge. So going back to the discussion, let's start with the insert command. Do remember, in SQL, in SQL Server specifically, I will be very specific here. In SQL Server specifically, there are 7 to 8 forms of say insert capabilities available. In Postgre and MySQL, maybe 5 or 6, but in SQL Server, 7 to 8 forms. Okay, we'll understand that what is supported in SQL, and during the Postgre, we'll understand what is supported in Postgre. Now, the form 1. Okay, yesterday we created a table called as customers table. Is that understanding correct? Still, my customers table is there. Let's verify, expand the columns grid, and you know how to connect to the SQL Server, so I no need to explain it again, but I will show you quickly. Connect database engine, choose your database from your browse more, go to the database engine, select the database engine that you have connected to, go hit connect. You are connected. Go to the databases, right click, refresh. You will see all the created custom databases. We have created the study database yesterday. So I will go into the study database. I will go into the tables to see what SQL tables are available. Yesterday we could create a customers table. So what I want to do today, I want to insert a few record into the customers table. How do I do that? I will open a new query window. I will say these are examples of DML command. Examples of DML commands. And then what I would do is we'll start with insert command first. Okay, insert command. Okay, now what I will do is we'll study form by form. What we'll do is I will just stop this particular thing, DDL. Yeah. Now, do you remember the first form of the insert command is you specify the column list. We'll understand what is the first form. The first form is specification of co specify specify column list. Column list during insert. Okay. What is the structure of the insert command? Insert into. How do you write an insert command? Insert into table name, insert into table name. Okay, do remember you must be seeing this DBO dot. Okay, when you drag this particular thing, you see this DBO dot. DBO stands for database owner in SQL Server. Whenever you create any table, any object in that manner, by default, the owner of that particular object is the DBO. DBO is the default owner, or it is the schema who owns every object created. We'll understand what's a schema is, how do you specify a particular object to a schema ownership in a subsequent session, but don't get bothered. Even if you don't write DBO, it doesn't matter. If you write only customer, still it will work. Okay, but by default, if you do drag and drop, by default this DBO will come forward. If I remove the DBO, still my query will work fine. Okay, just a second. Fine. So now if you specify, like I said, insert into table name, the first part is insert into table name. Second part, you have to start open parenthesis. Okay, be very specific about it. Open parenthesis, then the column list. Okay, column 1, column 2. I can see the first column is customer ID, zip code, street, and house number. Okay, I specified that. And then you have to specify the values clause. Do remember, SQL always need a values clause. Insert into customer, open bracket, open bracket, column list, values, and the value list. Okay, whatever the value set is. Do you remember customer ID is integer? That is why I'm saying without any single quotes. Integer data doesn't need a single quote, but all the varchar field, that is string field has to be separated with a single quote. Do remember, n is coming, right? N is also an optional parameter. I will specify. Okay, I will just remove it. I will show why the n is coming by default when I generate the data. N start notify the n varchar property. That means when yesterday we were discussing, right, varchar and n varchar, Unicode versus the normal character. Do you remember, if you see here, in this area I am specifying combination of string, hyphen, and number. Actually, it is not only the string, it is combination of all type of data category, right? When you specify those kind of data category, they recommend that always a specifier n, then after that single quote and single quote, so that you actually verify it is a new n varchar type of data. It is not only string, it is a combination of string, special characters, and numbers combined together. Okay, is it mandatory to specify n? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Only single quotes also works fine. Okay. If you don't specify, no harm. If you specify, you are just beautifying, you are just giving SQL Server an extra hint that it is not only a string, but also it contains other type of data. So if you don't want to use some intelligence to store the data, please leverage it. Okay. That is what the structure is. So we will go ahead and do that particular thing. So we'll run this particular command. I have explained the command. Insert into table name, open bracket, column list. Every column is separated from each other by a comma, and then the values clause, and then again the same thing, open bracket and all the value list, right? One will map to the customer ID, Germany maps to the zip code, street maps, this particular string maps to the zip code, street maps to the Germany, and house number maps to this one. Okay, this is how the string is. Now let us do another thing. What is the value advantage of this particular pattern of writing it? Okay, do remember I have 4 columns: customer ID, zip code, street, and house number. That is a sequence of column event. Okay, first column has to be customer, second is zip code, third is street, and fourth is house number. Do you remember the advantage of specifying the column list is? What is the advantage of specifying column list is? Even if you change the position of the column, it doesn't matter. Okay, let us see. Control X, I will map my first column is as my house number. Control Z. What I will do, I will map Control Z once. Okay, I will do cut it. I will paste this as the first column. Then I put a comma. Sorry, I will put a comma here. I will remove the extra comma here, right? I'm changing my sequence now. And whatever data I wanted to pass to the flat number, I will put it as the first string, okay, before the customer ID. Okay, let's see. Does it form well? Yes, it formed well. Okay, now in the previous one, I was specifying n. I will not specify n, doesn't matter. N is just a beautification character. That is why I wanted to specify that if you see n, don't get bothered. N means it is a combination of string and alphanumeric characters. Okay. So what I'm doing, house number first, then customer ID, zip code, and street. I have the privilege of changing the sequence and changing the data pattern. Whether it will work and it will insert the corresponding data. Let us verify. I inserted, insert command worked well. So let's see whether select star from customers table CUST. So do remember, whenever you start typing, it will actually give you a hint. Okay, this particular property is known as IntelliSense. IntelliSense. Okay, customers. Okay, so I could identify there is a property called as customers. So I will go ahead and do the execute. You can see both the record got inserted. First, I inserted for the customer ID, I was inserting 1, and for the house number, I was inserting something. Here in the second query, I first passed the house number, right here, flat number, and then the customer ID 2, right? And everything got mapped accordingly. So the beauty of this particular syntax is even if you change your column list, depending on the sequence of the column list, the data row gets mapped automatically to them. Okay. So the first form of the insert command needs a column list to be specified. Clear about the first syntax? Let's move to the second form of the syntax. Second go. I have explained this particular special note. According to the ANSI standard, we can change the ordering of the value because you have to specify the column order. Now, whatever value you will specify, that value will map to the corresponding column list, right? Like we demonstrated the street, the house number. I moved from the last to the first column and the first value got mapped automatically to the house number. So the value gets mapped to the column list. Do remember, okay? If you only change the house number and you are trying to insert one, that means essentially that one will map to the house number and remaining all will map sequentially, right? So SQL doesn't have any intelligence. It only map the value of the data to the column list. Okay, whatever column comes first, that will be inserted into that particular column. That is how the SQL insert command works. Now let's move to the second command, second form of the command, form 2. Okay, form 2, where you no need to, you can do the insert without specifying the column list. Okay, form 2 is what? That no column list, no column names needed. Okay, you can still insert into the table without specifying the column list. Here, see, I could specify the column where I wanted to insert the data. In the other form, you no need to specify the column list. Okay, If you don't, then what happens? If you don't specify, then by default, the 2 gets mapped to the customer ID, the second value gets mapped to the zip code, third value gets mapped to the third, and the fourth value gets mapped to the fourth. Okay. If you do not specify, then you have to automatically SQL map the data to that particular thing. Let's verify the select star. You can see the third row also got inserted. Do remember, in while designing the customers table, I did not choose customer ID to be identity column. Yesterday we did discuss about identity. Identity is a special property that gets attributed to a specific numeric column. In a table, there can be only one identity column. You cannot insert data into that particular column because SQL Server manages that particular data. By default, identity starts at 1, increments by 1. In case the identity needs to be incremented by a different range while creation of the table, what you need to specify? ID, int, identity, bracket start, seed value, comma, increment value, 1, comma 2. That means what? First value will be 1, second value will be 1 plus 2. That will be 3. Then 3 plus 2 will be 5, right? If you want to change the sequence or the seed value, you have to specify that definition in your table. It is a very important interview question. The interview question will be in the form of what? Can you insert data into the identity column? If you have to explicitly insert data into the identity column, how do you do that? I didn't speak about it. We'll actually learn it today, okay? Because it is related to the insert. I didn't speak about that then. Now, in this particular form of insert, we are not specifying the column list. And do remember, when you do not specify the column list, automatically the value gets mapped to the sequence and order of the column. Why did I speak about the 2? If you see here also, I inserted a value 2. Here also, I inserted a value 2. That is where you see 2 customer ID with 2 different data rows getting inserted into the table. I inserted the same data row, same copy pasted data, and that got mapped into the table. So form 2 is you no need to specify the column list. It is an optional one. But if you do not, that means essentially the sequence will be followed as per the table structure. Form 3. Let's go back and say that I want to insert data, but I want to select the data from somewhere. Okay. I want to insert the data, but I want to select the data from somewhere. Okay. Form 3 is what? Form 3, insert into table by selecting data from other table. We'll see how this particular form has, if this particular form has 2 form, we'll understand that particular thing. Okay. What this particular form is, let us understand. This particular form is insert into customer. If you can see, insert into the customer, I'm saying the customer ID, zip code, street and thing. I did not specify the values clause. Do see, in the first form I definitely specified the values clause. In the second form I specified the values clause, but in the third form I am specifying insert into the table name. I am making that particular column list where I want to insert the data, but then I don't have a values clause, and after that I do have a value list, and the value list is formed by doing what? By doing a select query. What I am doing within the select, I am saying select the ID is as 4, the zip code as F, the street as G, and the house number as H. Okay. If I only show you what this, once I highlight the select code and execute, what it does, it actually creates a data row. Can you see that? It is creating a data row like structure for you. It is giving you a table like structure, and that particular structure has a 1 row and 1 column. Okay. Can you say that insert into table by selecting data from other table? In case this is one of the select that I have written to format data, but if I have data available from other table, I can also write select column, comma column, comma column, comma column from other table. If I am not selecting this dummy data from, I'm not selecting this dummy data like structure, but I want to select the data from another table and insert into the customer. That is also possible. Why? Because I can write the select column list, column list, column list from the table list. In that way, also I can create this data structure, right? So the select query without so select by using, sorry, I'm saying wrong, sorry about that. Insert query without the values clause can exist only if you are doing the data selection by using a select command. You are selecting the data from somewhere and trying to insert the data into the table. In that condition, you can leverage the insert into table, column list, and select. Now let us see whether I'm able to insert this particular command or not. Highlight the command and insert. One row inserted. So I will go back and highlight the select star. Yeah, I could insert the data by selecting data from other table. I will show you another example that will give more clarity, but just do remember insert command without the select clause. Okay, we'll go to the form 4. This is the form 3. Let's understand the form 4. Multi-line insert. Okay, like we did the third form where I could only form the data from one select query. You can actually write a complex join query also to get the data from multiple table and then do the data. Okay, here for the example sake, what I did is I am showing you how the multiple data row syntax works. Okay, do not care about what I have written here. Just understand this form is structured, is supported, because anyways during the data query language you will understand what select is, what union is, and what other form is. But do remember, if a data structure comes as multi-line, I wanted to show you the form of this particular command stack is, till now we are inserting one row of data, just verify we are trying to insert one row of data. But can I insert multiple lines of data into the table at the same go? Yes, I can. How do I do that? Here if you see, I'm doing a one row selection union another row selection. So if you see, there are two rows formed by doing a union query. I'm trying to union first data set, merge the first data set with the second data set, and you can see there are two rows of data rows getting formed. Okay, two rows of data getting formed, and now I can insert n number of data rows. Insert, say you can insert one properties. You can only insert into one table at a time, but it does not restrict you to insert how many rows into the table. You want to insert one row, go for single line insert statement. You want to go for a multi-line insert at the same time, go for a multi-line insert command. Do remember the form 4 type of writing an insert query using select and union clauses is known as a multi-line insert command. Okay, so what I will do now, I will just highlight the command, insert into the table, bracket list customer, and then the data set, and execute. Let's see, I should be able to see two more data rows getting inserted into my table. Can you see that? Now my data rows 5 and 6 getting inserted into the table with a corresponding value. So this is the multi-line insert statement that we could actually execute. Now I will move further. We'll go to the form 5. What is the form 5? Okay, this is an interesting form, do remember. And this is an interview question. Do remember, this is why it is interesting an interview question. This has a very peculiar behavior that you need to know for your formation of the thing, right? Okay. Do remember, take a note about this particular structure. If your interviewer asks, tell me, how do you take a backup of a table that is already available within SQL? I want to take the backup of the data. Just a second, okay. I want to take the backup of the data that is available within a SQL table. That means, say for an example, I have a table known as customers available. I want to do some salary update activity on this particular table, but if that means essentially what will happen, that might suggest that essentially there might be some data corruption or something. So before I do any important activity, I want to take a backup of the data that is available in the customers table, right? Whatever data is available in the customer table with the data with the structure should be copied into another table and keep it safe. Do the operation on the customers table. If you are happy, then commit. If you are not happy, roll back, right? Because I still have the data available in another exact replica of the data available in another table before the activity. If your need is that in any business scenario, you are going to do a bulk copy, you are going to do a data load from X flat file into the table. But before the table insertion, because it is a massive data that is going to be plugged in into the new table, you want to make sure my safe copy of the table is available. Then form 5 is the structure that you should leverage. And I recommend anytime in your data engineering job, in the initial career, take a note, during your initial days, whenever somebody asks you to perform deletion, updation, always take a safe copy of the SEP backup of the table. Okay, then do update, then do delete, verify the data looks fine with your seniors and everybody. If everything looks okay, then only you delete that particular table that was having the SEP copy of the data. What is this particular structure then looks like? Okay, do remember, if somebody asks you to create a new table by copying all the data from another table, that is the structure. Insert does what? Insert allows you to insert data into a table. This particular structure why falls into the insert category? Because my need is create a new table and copy all the data from the old table. Okay, so my need is create a table called as customers backup. In my database, there is no table known as customers backup. Is that understanding correct? Let's see. Before the operation, I do have a customers table. I don't have a customers backup table. I do have a customer. I don't see any customer backup table here. I see student team name test, right? I want to create a table known as customers backup, and I want to copy whatever data is available within the customers table. So how many rows of data available in the customers table here? If you see, there are 6 data rows available in the customer table. So if I go for using this particular syntax, that syntax is select star into new table name from old table name. The syntax is what? Select star into new table name from old table name. If you use this particular syntax, what it will do, it will create an exact replica of the table customers by copying the structure, and also it will copy the data from the customers tables into the customer backup table. Command completed successfully. One thing to observe, 6 rows affected. Can you see that? It is saying command successfully completed and 6 rows affected. That means essentially my purpose was to create a duplicate copy of the customer table. I can see a new table getting formed known as customer backup. If I do a select star from the customer backup, can I see all the same 6 rows? Select star from customers backup. Can you see all the 6 rows of the data that was there in the customer table is copied with the same exact structure? If you go to the customer backup also, the customer ID, zip code, street, house number with the same similar exact data structure is copied. So do remember, this is a very special command where your ambition is to select all the data from the table and create a new copy of the existing table. Leverage this particular command stack. Okay, there are two parts of the interview question. First interview question one, if someone asks you copy all the data from the table and create a structure of that, then you have to use select star into customer backup and do that. Okay, second part of the same story, if the interviewer says my question is write me a command syntax that copies the structure of an existing table but do not copy the data, that is another possibility, right? How do you do that? So if somebody asks you copy all the structure of the table but do not copy the data, what you need to do, just remember, add this top 0. Do not bother what I'm saying, just do remember the command. You will actually remember, understand what this top 0 star mean during the selection property. Okay, when you say select top 0 star, I will just show you. When you say select star from table name, it will tell you whatever data is stored within the table structure, correct? But if I specify select top 0 star in SQL Server, it definitely mean do not show me any data. Can you see there is no data being pulled? If I say select top 1, it will give you the 1 row of the data. Is it going to give you the first row? No, it matters. Do not get confused that if you see the customer ID 1 is always coming that way. No, answer is the top 1 means give me 1 row of data. What data? It may be the first row, it may be the last row. I can change my sequencing and the pattern will change. Okay, top 1 means give me 1 row of data. Be specific about it. If somebody asks you top 1 means what? Is it the first row of data? Is it the middle row of the data? Is it a random row of the data? Answer is it can be anything depending upon my need. Okay, top 1 means essentially give me 1 row of data from the selection list. Okay, that is the right answer. Now if I say top 2, that means essentially it will give me top 2 rows. Okay, 2 rows only. That is what the behavior of the top star means, or top n means. Okay, if I write select star, that means give me all the rows of data. So if my interviewer asks me the question, can you create a new table or a table name called as customer backup 1 by copying the structure of the customer table? If somebody asks me to do that, what I will write, I know top 0 star means select the no data from the customer table, but copy the structure of the customer table. That is what I am actually meant by this. Select top 0 star into the new table name from customer table. If I do that, essentially another table will be created with the name called as customer backup 1. Okay, but if I go do select into that particular new table, I will not see any data row within that. Why? Because during selection process, I did not specify how many. I specified that do not copy the data at all. Can you see? Customer backup 1 table got created here. If I go to the refresh, I will see the customer backup and customer backup 1 is created, right? But when I select the customer backup 1, there is no rows of data. Why? Because during the selection process, I specified top 0 star. So it is one of the interview specific from the DML side. Do remember, if someone is going to ask you question, definitely this form of the insert is definitely an interview question. Okay, and variations, select star into table, still select star into new table name from old table name is the structure. If you do not want to copy the data and copy all the data, copy the structure, select star into the new table name from old table name. You don't want to copy any data and you want to create a structure, select top 0 star into the table name from old table name. That is the structure that you should follow. Okay, now let's move ahead to the next part. Next, syntax. Okay, I have already actually explained this particular form that you create the structure but do not copy the data row. Select top 0 star into the table name. I have already shown this particular form, so it is the sixth form. Ideally I should have shown you as this is the form 6. That form 6 says what? Form 6 says create data, create table without copying data. This is the structure. Okay, form 6. Now let's go to the form 7. Form 7 is where this is the syntax that says how do you do multi-line insert using the same single insert command. By far the multi-line command that I showed is by using select query. Is that correct? Select union and then you can do that, right? This is where the multi-line insert was accepted. Now there is another insert command that is available using which you can actually do the multi-line insert. Okay, this is a straightforward multi-line insert. Do remember, syntax is straightforward. What do you need to do? Insert into table name, bracketed column list, wherever you want to actually insert into that particular column list, then the values, and then the value set, okay? First value set, values clause is there, then the first value set is there, then you put a comma, then the second value set. So you can actually specify this particular sequence to do that particular objective. If that is my syntax, can I do this? Let's see. Can I do this particular pairing again here as an example? Can I write a syntax like this? Insert into customer. I will do the same sequencing. Customer ID, zip code, this, and I want to insert two more pair. What I will do, instead of 5, 6, 7, 8, can I say, I will say syntax is write a values clause. Values, then can I specify like this? My first value set is delete, backspace. My first value set is 7, 7. This is one value set. Then I will put a comma. Then I will put the second value set. What would be the second value set? I will delete the union and then I will delete this row. Then I will delete this. I will 7, 8. 7, 8. I'll just change my data type. I will say JKLM, JK, L, M, N, O. Okay. This is my second value set. So if I do this particular syntax, does it allow me to insert 2 rows of data into the table? Let's see. It is saying 2 rows affected. Be very specific here. It is saying 2 rows affected. So in a table, using the insert command, if you have the operation to insert multiple rows, you can do this particular pattern also. So up to this is the form 1. Is that correct? Insert into table name, bracketed column list, values clause, and then the value set, right? But what is coming extra? Put an extra comma and then the second value set, right? So this is an array of object you are passing to this particular thing, so that first value, comma, second value set, comma, third value set, comma, fourth value set, and in that particular form, you can actually insert n number of rows into the table. Let us verify whether I do have the data available in now. I can see the 7th and 8th rows are being inserted here. Clear? So this is another form known as the multi-line insert form. Now let's move further. This is the last form. Let us understand what this particular form is. Okay. This is an important aspect. Let us see. I showed you this particular form, right? But then I said that it is a form where I could insert by writing a select query. When I say that you can insert into table name by select data from other table, that is what my intention was. But I actually selected a data row instead. I was saying select 4, 5, 6 as a dummy data row. But my objective was, this example that I'm saying is a part of the step 4 only. But then it is the piece that is a demo or demo piece. Okay. Now, what I wanted to see, that I want to insert into the backup one table. Customers, I created a table called as customers backup one, correct? And this table doesn't have any data. Is that understanding correct? This table doesn't have any data. My ambition is to insert data into this particular table, insert data rows into this particular table by selecting all the data from customers table. That is what my ambition is. It is a backup table. Backup table should have data, but during creation I did not copy any data. What I'm trying to do, I will say select all this 4 column data from my customer table. Select all the table data from the customers. So I will first show what data comes up and how it is getting inserted. So if I select this particular query, select the column from the customer, it will tell you what are the data rows that is there in the customers table. Do remember, I'm just highlighting this particular line of code. Select all the column from the customers table. So there are 8 data rows available. So if I write a syntax, insert into the table name, bracketed column list, there is no values clause, and after that a select query, then essentially whatever data rows is written by the underneath select query will be inserted into the new table name, right? So if I execute this particular thing, can you see 8 rows affected? That means 8 rows get inserted into the customer backup one. Initially the customer backup was created with a blank structure. Can I see 8 data rows now in the customer backup one? Yes, I am highlighting the select backup one here, and I can see 8 data rows being copied into the table. Okay. Now, in the interest of time, what I want to do is this. These are the all 8 forms of the insert that is available within the SQL Server. Okay. Now, let us move to the delete command. Do you remember? Delete. Delete says the syntax. Delete command is used for deleting existing data rows from the table. Okay. That is what the purpose of the delete command is. What is the syntax of the delete command? Delete from table name where the condition is true. That is what the syntax is. What is the syntax? Delete from which table you want to delete, and what condition, where the condition met, you go ahead and delete, right? So in case I want to delete something from my customer table, right? Do see how do I write the delete command? Delete example is, how do I delete data rows? Delete from customer backup one. For an example, I want to delete data rows from the customer backup one. Okay, delete from customer backup one where a condition is met. I want to delete the data row where my ID column is 5. I want to write that. So how do I say that? Where ID equals, I don't have a ID column, I do have a customer ID column. So I would say where customer ID equals 5. So what I'm trying to say, I want to delete this 5th data row from my customer backup one table. So what I'm trying to say, delete from container, delete from container where a match is found. This is how you should remember. Delete from the container where a match is found. Okay, where the condition is true. So if I execute this particular command, what will happen is it will actually delete the data row. If you can see one row affected, if I go and select the data from the backup one table, you will see 4 and then 6. The 5th data row is gone. Now it is deleted. Can you see that 1, 2, 3, 4, but then 5th data row is all deleted. If I want to specify delete the 6th data row, then I would be able to see the delete command deleting the 6th data row as well, right? 4 and 7. So 5th and 6th record getting deleted. Do remember what is the potential danger with the delete queries, okay? And do take a note. This is the 10 on 10 interview question. If you go to any DML in any data engineering position or any SQL interview question, right, during this particular process, you can also appear for the SQL developer position also. Anywhere. You are not going to only bind your career only to the data engineering, but also SQL development position after this particular course you can actually approach for. Because SQL plays a key role for your data engineering industry, right? Wherever this entire data engineering is happening, data loading, data transformation, data analytics, anywhere this particular thing is there, wherever the SQL is used, you can approach for that. Anywhere you are going for this, the interview question is, what happens if I do not write or delete without a where condition? Okay. Do remember the interview question can be of two form. One, what is the difference between delete and truncate? Or what happens if I do not do a where condition within the delete? Do you remember before this particular condition, I had at least 6 data rows left in the customer backup table. There are 6 rows of data available. Okay. Now, if I do a delete from my container, what I'm saying, delete from the container without writing a where condition. If I do that, by default, it is an instruction to the SQL server, delete all the rows of the data from the table, all rows of data, because I did not specify a where condition. If I do not specify a where condition, automatically SQL will wipe out all the data from the table, row by row. Okay, every one row of the data will be taken out. So if I go back and see for the data, I will see no data available in my table. Backup one table is all gone. Can you see that? All the data from the backup one is gone. Okay, but I do have a backup table. I can still insert into the data into the backup table. I have the syntax available. I will load the data again. Okay, so I will see all the 8 data rows are being inserted. So I will go and again do the delete backup. I can see 8 data, but I do the delete again. So all the data rows will be gone again. Okay. A delete query without a where condition is a potential threat that you should never run on your production workload. Do remember whatever trick I am showing you, you should do it every time you do it throughout your career. It is not being fresher throughout your career journey. What you should do, without understanding, I'm not going to explain what I'm talking about, because I have a dedicated session about the transaction control language, right? But I will show you, whenever you are playing with a delete command without a where condition, or you are doing an update without a where condition, or with a where condition, I always do this. I say begin. So I don't have any data row. First, let me insert data rows into my customer table. Okay, I have inserted data rows into the customer table. I will show you there is data available. Okay, before doing the delete, I will do begin tran. I will write a command called as begin run. Then I will do the execute. Then I will do the delete from. Okay. There is no data. I mistakenly deleted the data. In the production table, I mistakenly did not write a where condition. I executed a delete table. All your data is gone, right? No way you could have restored. But because you have done this particular operation within a begin transaction block, I found that I mistakenly deleted all the data from my table, right? My mistakes might happen and do happen, right? All the data is gone. And if it is the customer production data set and you have done this mistake, your job is gone. On that very day, you will be fired from the company, right? So what you need to do, you need to write a command called as rollback, because you have actually executed this particular command with a SEP block known as begin transaction. It is an instruction to the SQL server. Please remember what I am trying to do. And in case I forget, please roll back. If I do mistake, please roll back. I will do the rollback. Okay. If I do a rollback, what will happen? Automatically, whatever data was deleted will be coming back into the table. Can you see that? I did delete the data in mistake, but what I did, I actually written the data within my transaction block. That is where I could actually roll back to revert the situation. Okay. So as a beginner, always do remember, whenever you are playing with a delete and update, always write begin run before your start of the code block, execute that code block, then perform the operation. And then if you are okay, verify the data looks okay to you. I found the data. I mistakenly deleted all rows because I did not write a where condition. I want to roll back. I will roll back. Okay. Now all the data rows will be back into the table. Okay. Now do remember, while reading online, you might find delete can be rolled back, truncate cannot be rolled back, which is absolutely wrong. Truncate also can be rolled back. I wanted to talk about that because while you will see the same behavior, truncate table. What does the truncate do? Truncate wipes out all the data from the table. And okay, let's see whether I have the data available. Can you see that? Truncate, all the data rows is there. I will start a begin transaction. Then I will do the truncate. Truncate wipes out all the data. If I go back and see all the data is gone, and I roll back. All the data is back. Okay. Do remember truncate also can be rolled back. So that particular statement, everywhere you will go and see truncate delete can be rolled back and truncate cannot be is absolutely wrong. Okay. Any transaction written within a transaction block, this particular element of thing is known as the transaction block. Anything written within a transaction block can be rolled back. Okay. That is the interview question from the delete and truncate perspective. Now coming back to the last part, the update command. I will not talk about the merge command. I will just talk about, because it is itself in a complex one, will actually subsequently complete it. Okay. Do remember update command helps you update existing data to a new data set. Okay. So what is the syntax of update command? We'll see how does the update command work. So what is the update command looking like? You will have to say update table name. I want to update the data row that is available in the customer backup. Let's first see what is available in the customer backup. Okay. I will target my row number 5. I want to change the zip code from T to some other number. Okay. That is what I wanted to do. How do I do that? Update customer backup. Update the table name. Update table name. Set. Next command would be set. What I want to update? I want to update the column name. What column name I want to update? I want to update the zip code. Okay. 2. I want to update to 500072. This is the zip code I want to update to. Okay. And for which data row I want to update, I have to specify a where condition. Do remember delete and update affect the entire table if you do not specify a where condition. Delete and update both affect the entire table if you do not specify the where condition. So it is absolutely necessary wherever you are writing update query, always write the where condition, or else all the data row will be updated without your realization. Where ID equals to where customer ID equals to 5. Customer ID equal to 5, right? So if I do that and I go and do the select from the customer backup, the data row 5 for the zip code is updated to the from T to 5002. Okay. In case I want to update the street number and house number in the same go, can I do that? I can definitely do that. How do I do that? If I have to do multiple column update, what I will say, put a comma, update table name, set column name equal to value, comma, second column zip equals to value, street equals to uh, Gandhipet, and then we'll write the house number is 34. Okay, I can actually update 3 column in the same stretch. What I will do, update table name, set column name equals to value, comma, column name equals to value, comma, house new column name equals to value for the same record. I can do this update command. Okay, and if you go and see, all the value for the customer backup 1 for the record 5 is updated. All the values on the same go is updated. Okay, so this is the update command. Using the update command, you can actually update the data row. And again, the thing is same. If you write update command without specifying the where condition, then you are going to update the entire table. Let me show you. If you do specify the update command without writing a where condition, I'm doing the update into the customer backup, set the value, but I did not specify the where condition. Then see what happens. If I do that, my entire table data get affected, and you will see everything is updated to this. Can you see that? Everybody zip code is same, street is same, house number is same. Why? I did the mistake of writing update query without writing a where condition. What does the update and delete do? Potential harm. They typically affect the entire table, right? Without your realization, they affect the entire table. And what you need to do, be careful during your writing of the exercise. Always try writing where condition during the delete operation. Always write a where condition. Always write a where condition when you are doing update. or to be safer side, always start the transaction within a begin transaction, then do the performance operation, and then either you commit and roll back, okay, as uncheck. And then always writing where condition is very important during the delete and the update command. Now, I will take a pause here because merge command anyways we'll talk about and will complete that particular target. A few interview questions is, what is DML, data manipulation language command, helps in modifying the data set. Command supported in DML, insert, update, delete, and merge. We did not discuss about merge. We will discuss about the merge tomorrow. Um, and what is delete command? Delete command helps in deleting data rows. If you do not write where condition, all the data rows will be deleted. What is the difference between delete and truncate? We did discuss it yesterday. Delete is a DML command and truncate is the DDL command. Delete command helps you have the selective deletion operation available in delete, but truncate doesn't have a where condition capability. Okay, it is the most important interview question. And also I showed you another behavior. I will actually tomorrow when we are going to discuss about the merge command, I will actually demonstrate the behavior of the delete and truncate as well. Okay, and the syntax of merge command, tomorrow we'll complete the merge and then we'll start the SQL part. So we'll discuss further from there. Okay, I will take a pause here, and I have discussed a lot. Let's see whether any questions there. Okay, I don't see any questions now. Fine. Can we delete a set of rows from the table without using? No, it is not possible. Like I said, where condition, yeah, you can delete multiple rows of data, but if your where condition satisfies multiple row, then definitely yes. Difference between drop, truncate, delete. Drop entirely destroy the object structure. Truncate, delete all the data from the table, keeping the structure handy. Delete, you can do selective row-wise deletion or selective row-wise deletion or deleting all the data from the table. Either way, okay. Okay. And does rollback work on update if used without where? Does rollback on update if used without where? Rollback has nothing to do with the update. Do remember begin, we'll discuss about it. Do not talk about the rollback and the transaction. I just demonstrated just to verify one myth that delete can be rolled back and truncate cannot be. Okay, fine. Thank you all.